Good evening. I wish to begin by recognizing the tireless efforts of the dedicated Justice 88 volunteers who have worked so diligently to put this event together this year and every year. At this annual commemoration, we keep faith with those whose lives were snuffed out in a terrible crime against humanity, a crime committed by the Iranian regime against innocent men, women, and children. Canada was the first country in the world to formally recognize the atrocities of 1988. This is thanks to the tireless efforts and the leadership of many people in this room today. And I too would like to remember with respect the Honorable Paul Doerr, who was a parliamentarian of tremendous principle and compassion. And I would also like to say it is, you can't think of the efforts that have been made in Canada on behalf of human rights without thinking of Erwin Kotler, who is a hero not only to me, but I think to everybody in this room. It's always, and it's always satisfying to see your work recognized and acknowledged, because indeed there are very, very few people in this whole world who have done as much as you have, Erwin, to promote and protect human rights and dignity of human beings around the world. Today, though, we come together once again to condemn the murderous Iranian regime that has so viciously and ruthlessly in the past and continues to this day to silence the voices of those they deem to be enemies. And we commit ourselves to do what we can for a better future for the Iranian people. And to that end, the leader of Canada's Conservative Party, Andrew Scheer, has asked me to bring this greeting to you this evening. He says, "I'm honored to share a message with those gathered today to remember the 1988 mass murder of political prisoners in Iran. I am deeply concerned by the Iranian regime's long record of human rights abuses. The events of 1988 are a sobering example of the violence, torture, suppression of free speech, and systemic discrimination practiced by the regime. I commend the Iranian Canadian community for your strong dedication to seek justice. Your work is an inspiration for those struggling to bring about change in Iran." On June 11, 2018, the House of Commons passed a Conservative motion that called on the Government of Canada to immediately list Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist entity. But 16 months later, the government has failed to act. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has terrorized the people of Iran for decades. A new Conservative government will right the wrongs of Justin Trudeau. We will immediately designate the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist entity under the Criminal Code. It was Canada's Conservatives who introduced the Justice for Victims of Corrupt Foreign Officials Act, also known as the Sergei Magnitsky Law. This legislation, which passed in 2017, enables the Government of Canada to sanction foreign officials who commit gross human rights violations. But here again, the government has failed to act. They have failed to use this measure to sanction any individual from Iran for human rights abuses. A new Conservative government will use the Magnitsky Law to sanction those who have committed human rights abuses. The Conservative Party of Canada stands with you in the fight to make Iran a free and democratic nation. Yours sincerely, Andrew Scheer.